Hi guys, it's Edward again in the tea evolution series. Sorry for dressing like this, especially the hat, because I just had a COVID cut. In this video, I will first introduce the Chinese terms in the past episode on the 3 historical uses of tea. Then we will talk about how tea evolved in the 3 eras in Chinese history. If you are familiar with the Chinese history, this episode will give you a new and different perspective on how Chinese people think of their own culture and history. If you're not, that's absolutely okay because you will find this video helpful with a brief and clear structure. Either way, you will get an idea of how Chinese culture evolved, especially the tea culture. Now, let's get into it. I know some of you enjoy learning the Chinese language together with Chinese tea, similar to in class how my tea students appreciate the must-learn Chinese section. So I will try my best to include a little Chinese in each of the following videos. Please let me know if this adds to your experience. Now let's go back to the Chinese language we used in the previous episode, the 3 historical uses of tea. First, eating in Chinese is 食用. Here, 食 means dining or to eat. For example, 食堂, dining hall. 用 means to use or usage. The second medicinal use in Chinese is 药用. For example, 药房 means medicine house or pharmacy. 药 is medicine and 用 again is use. So 药用, medicinal use. The third use of tea in the last episode is drinking. In Chinese is 饮用. For example, 饮水 means drinking water, and 饮料, which means a drink or beverage. Therefore, the 3 historical uses of tea in Chinese are 食用, 药用, and 饮用. More importantly, in this video, I want to introduce the extensive Chinese history and discuss how this is entwined with tea history. When talking about history, there are just numerous perspectives. To summarize, I will split the history into 3 eras of tea development. This is based on my educational background, my travel experiences inside and out of China, and also, living the majority of my life in China except for the last few years in North America. The 3 eras are pre-China era, pre-Cha era, and Cha era. These eras could be described as the budding stage, the growing stage, and the flowering stage. Now let's check them out. First is what I call the pre-China era. I don't mean the word China, but the country. The Qin dynasty united China as one country for the first time in 221 BC. Since then, the language, measurement, law, and so on were mostly unified across China. Tea changed from a wild leaf only recognized in the southwest of China into an agricultural product in the whole country. At this time, tea became gradually more popular among all classes, from the common people to the upper class, and even the emperor's family in the northern China. However, of all the 3 uses of tea we mentioned in the previous video, tea was mostly used as a vegetable or a medicinal herb rather than a common drink. Also, due to the magical feeling we mentioned, people started attributing tea not only to their emperor, but also to their ancestors or god. Many minorities in China still keep the custom of sacrificing with tea as they believe tea is granted by their god as a favor to them. So in the pre-China era, before the Qin united China, ancient people used the tea and started to cultivate tea. They knew the magical feeling they can get from tea, but there weren't many rules or principles developed in either processing or consuming. I would regard it as a primeval culture, or the budding stage. The second era is pre-Cha era. The time between Qin dynasty and the mid-Tang dynasty is what I called the pre-Cha era. I hope you remember in the previous video that this drink didn't have a specific name until the mid-Tang dynasty. If you missed that, please check out another episode of ours, The Evolution of the Word Tea. During this era between the 5th and the 6th centuries, religious ideas such as Buddhism and Taoism began to influence Chinese culture in many ways. Tea started to be appreciated as more than just a vegetable or a medicinal herb. Then tea grew into an immature art because of its charming aroma, ever-changing flavor, and this magical effect on the body. The next step after attributing tea to emperors or their god, people gradually associated drinking tea with their spiritual world. Tea and practicing tea became a symbol that represented their mindfulness. As tea was not essential in their diet anymore, it became essential as a cultural symbol. There were many historical documents and poems in the West Jin and Tang dynasty mentioning the techniques of boiling tea, reviewing tea, and also the thoughts or inspirations on life gained while drinking tea. Here I want to share with you part of a poem called The 7 Cups of Tea, which is one of my favorite. Here it comes. 一碗喉吻润，二碗破孤闷，三碗搜枯肠，惟有文字5000卷。四碗发轻汗，平生不平事，尽向毛孔散。五碗肌骨清，六碗通仙灵。七碗吃不得也，唯觉两腋习习清风生。How does this poem make you feel? Please comment below on this poem. The third era is the Cha era. This started in the mid-Tang dynasty and hasn't ended yet. With the tea sage Lu Yu and his book The Classics of Tea, the Tang dynasty first set the fundamental norms for tea, such as the name, Cha, cultivation, production, preparation, and even the ways of drinking tea. Since the Tang dynasty, each of the following dynasties had a unique tea culture that combined the social ideologies, techniques of processing tea, and also people's tea drinking habits. In the next video, I will dive deeper into those Chinese dynasties and see how tea evolved as a drink. But for now, that's all for this one. Does it seem a Chinese language episode? I hope you enjoy this one and remember the Qin and Tang dynasty divided the history into 3 parts, pre-China, pre-Cha, and Cha. I'll elaborate more in the next video on the third era. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next episode, Tea in the Great 5 Dynasties.